Number 9 is the most undiscovered game I've ever covered on this channel, and it's called The Intuition Game. This is a self-published game by designer Thomas Huffman, and he graciously sent me a review copy about 9 months ago. And honestly, this is the game that sort of sent me down this path of playing through all my betting games and trying to rank them. So thank you, Thomas, for sending this. This was a surprise hit for my family over the holidays in 2024. We first played it at Thanksgiving, and it was an instant hit. Everyone wanted to play again, and then they requested that we bring it back to our Christmas gatherings and New Year's, and we played this at like every family gathering during that time frame, and it became an instant classic with my wife's side of the family. We had several games where 4 generations were sitting around the table placing bets, yelling and screaming and laughing and just having a good time together as a family, and that's what board gaming is all about. Now, this is a very simple idea here, and that's why I say it's a family game night type of a game, because there's not much depth to this. However, there is a lot of excitement and big payoff moments and highs and lows and those roller coasters of emotions that I like from betting games. So in this case, I don't need the game to be incredibly deep or complex. I just need it to be easy to teach, easy to see what's going on, and have a nice large betting space so that lots of people can enjoy this together. This one checks all those boxes, and it's fun. It will create memories with your family, and that's why I think it's worth checking out. I do want you to go read my written review of this game. It's called Ready, Set, Better. It's over on the Board Game Geek listing. I'll post the link in the video description below, but I really tried to highlight some of our specific moments of excitement and memories that were made around the table, because if I just teach you how to play, I don't think that will come through, in a video review. So go check out that written review. I think you'll find it helpful, especially because I did some comparisons to Ready, Set, Bet as well. The first thing to understand is the deck of cards. We have 4 suits and 4 colors, 1 of each card. So we have eagle, man, lion, and ox, and each of those suits has 1 of each color: blue, yellow, green, and red. We also have 3 wild cards in this deck. They look like this. That's 19 total cards. The cards correspond to the spaces on this very large rubber playing mat here, and this is where players will place their bets on which card they think will be revealed next. So at the beginning of the game, we'll shuffle this deck of 19 cards and place it face down on the card shoe like this. Each round there will be 1 dealer, and then the dealer just rotates clockwise around the table each round. So at the beginning of the game, each player starts with a supply of money tokens in their player color, randomly determine who gets to be the dealer first and give them the dealer marker, and then you're ready to begin. Now I want to give you an overview of what the round looks like, and then I'll explain this betting grid. So every round begins with the dealer placing a single bet on the interior grid of this board. The dealer is only allowed to place 1 bet on 1 space. They can bet as much money as they want, but they have to choose a single space inside the grid. Once the dealer has placed their bet, then everyone else at the table can place bets on any spaces they want. They can place on multiple spaces, and players can share the same spaces, etc., etc. Once all those bets are in, then the dealer reveals the top card. Losing bets are lost to the bank. Winning bets are returned to the players, plus their winnings from the bank. After that, you pass the dealer marker 1 space clockwise, and that player is the dealer for the next round. They begin by placing that single bet on the interior grid, and then all the other players place their bets, and we reveal the card. You keep repeating this process until you play through every card in that deck. At the end of all that, the player with the most money wins. So let me explain this betting grid. First of all, we have the interior spaces. These pay out 10 to 1 because you're betting on an exact card to show up. So if I place a 10 token on the yellow lion, and we flip that card and it's yellow lion, I get paid 100 from the bank, plus I get my bet back. You can also just bet on a specific color or a specific symbol. So if we've been playing a few rounds and we haven't seen any red cards, maybe I think, wow, red is really due to show up, I might place a bet here on this red space. As long as the next card is red, the symbol does not matter, this bet will pay. This bet pays 2 to 1, so if I put 20 on this space and it wins, I get 40 from the bank plus my 20 back. The symbols pay the same way, so if I bet on ox and an ox card shows up, regardless of color, this bet will also pay 2 to 1. Now remember how the dealer could only place a single bet on the inside grid to start the round. That's because the dealer can get paid for a color match, a symbol match, an exact match, or an infinity card. So if the dealer had bet on the red eagle, for example, it's sort of like the dealer placed a bet here, here, and here, because they'll get paid 2-1 if it's just a red card, they'll get paid 2-1 if it's just an eagle card, or they'll get paid 10-1 if it's an exact red eagle. Furthermore, if we flip over an infinity card, then the dealer gets paid 5-1, no matter where they place their bet. So the infinity cards are an automatic win for the dealer, and nobody else gets paid for infinity cards unless they place the bet in the corner. So you can bet on the infinity space, and that's a 5-1 payout if we flip an infinity card. Remember, there are 3 infinities in the deck. One more little wrinkle in the rules is, remember I said the dealer has to place their single bet on an interior space. The dealer is allowed to place their bet on the infinity space instead, and if they get that right, it's a 10-1 payout for the dealer, but only if an infinity card gets flipped. Any other card in that situation would be a loss for the dealer. Finally, the players can bet with or against the dealer. If you think the dealer has the color or the shape correct, you bet here, and that will pay 1-1. If you bet on this red space, this says the dealer has the color and the shape incorrect. And if that's the case, any bets here would pay 1-1 as well. And those are all the spaces for placing bets. So it's a very simple but well-designed board, well-balanced with all the odds. And I like how you can bet however much money you want on the different spaces. So all your winnings that you accumulate during the game are available to bet however you see fit. You can place a few risky bets on the inside and maybe one of them hits and you get a 10-1 payout. But then you can balance out your risk a little bit and, bet on just a color showing up. Like maybe you're halfway through the deck and not a single green card has come out yet and you're positive that a green is coming next. Maybe you go heavy on just a green bet. So many ways you can spread out your bets and protect yourself, and you can even bet with other players that are having a really lucky streak, or bet against a dealer if they're doing terrible in the game and things like that. So there's so many ways that you can sort of use this grid to your advantage, and I like playing around with that. It sort of reminds me of being at a casino and sitting at a roulette table or something. And I also like that I don't have to worry about other players, bumping out my bets or competing for limited spaces and things like that. I can kind of bet at my own pace. I also like the memory element to this game. I typically don't like memory games, but here it's interesting because you're trying to remember these cards as they come out. You're not allowed to go back and look at the previous cards that have been revealed. And you think you can remember this stuff, but then about halfway through the game, your mind starts playing tricks on you and players start making huge bets on cards that you thought you already saw, and then you start questioning your own memory, and then it's like, that player over there has a really good memory, maybe I'll just piggyback off of their bets. But then maybe they notice you're doing that and they start bluffing you. So there is a lot of openness to how this can play out depending on the players at the table, and even though the game depends on how that deck was shuffled at the beginning, that will make for a very different game every time, because the timing of when certain cards come out sort of changes how you view the odds. Maybe we haven't seen any infinity cards and there's only like 6 cards left. Well, 3 of those have to be infinity cards. So suddenly we have a 50-50 chance of a 5-1 payout, but only if you keep track of that information in your head. So you have to pay attention to the cards that have come out, and it's trickier than it seems. So I think it's pretty cool how you have that, changing odds of certain cards showing up as you get later and later into the game, and everything kind of builds toward that final card reveal. And that's always a very dramatic and exciting moment because you are trying so hard to remember the one card that has not shown up yet. And everybody's betting all their chips on a certain card, and you are sure that you saw that card earlier, and you have to question your memory, and then you flip the final card and everybody goes crazy, and it's just a really fun ending to an exciting game. So that is the Intuition game. Again, don't look for a super deep game here, but it is just pure fun for what it is. So again, go check out my written review over on